All right, welcome back to our walkthrough of J. Daniel Elijah's Tending the Garden. Now, for the last 8 chapters, we've really been digging into the theory, the big ideas. But here, in Chapter 9, everything shifts. This is where we move from the what to the how. This is where the ideas really start to get their hands dirty.
Alejos kicks things off with this incredible metaphor. I mean, just think about that for a second. Your life, your relationships, your work, it's all like a garden. It's not a machine you can control or perfect, but a living, breathing thing that's been entrusted to you.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the big problem Alejos sets up, and then we'll look at 2 totally different ways of trying to solve it. We'll go deep on what he calls the gardener's posture, see how it plays out in real life, and then we'll face the pretty serious consequences of what happens when we just ignore our garden completely.
Okay, so quick recap of where we've been in the book so far. We've basically landed on a few key truths. 1, morality is real. It's an objective part of our world. 2, our ability to see it clearly is, well, it's flawed. We've all got biases and blind spots. And yet, despite all that, we are always shaping the people around us, for better or for worse.
And that leads us to the absolute heart of this chapter. This really tough question. If we know our actions matter, that they have real weight, but we also know we can't see the full picture or guarantee the outcome, what on earth does it look like to act in a good, faithful way?
Well, the first answer, the one that probably comes most naturally to us, is to just try and grab control. Alejos gives us a name, the conqueror's posture. It's our attempt to just wrestle uncertainty to the ground and force the outcome we want. For the conqueror, the only thing that counts is the result. Did I get what I wanted? Did I win? It's a mindset that is completely obsessed with outcomes, and it demands guarantees in a world that, doesn't really offer any. And to make all that control a little easier, the conqueror loves a one-size-fits-all approach. They create one simple script, one rule, and apply it to every single person, every single situation, completely ignoring all the nuance and complexity of real life.
So what happens when life doesn't follow the script? Well, the conqueror doesn't listen. They don't adapt. Nope. They push harder. They squeeze tighter. They manipulate more. And this road, it only leads to 2 places: brittle, fragile relationships built on fear, or just plain despair when control, inevitably, fails.
So if that's the wrong path, what's the alternative? This is where Alejos introduces this beautiful, powerful idea. Instead of conquest, he offers the posture of a gardener. It's a totally different way of thinking about our moral responsibility. He calls it tending.
And this chart just nails the difference, doesn't it? The conqueror sees life as a machine to be dominated. The gardener sees it as a living process to be cultivated. You can't force a plant to grow by yanking on it. You have to create the right conditions for it to flourish on its own. It's this huge shift from domination to stewardship.
So tending isn't some complex strategy to get perfect results. It's a model for being faithful. It's just showing up, paying attention to what's actually real in a situation, and then responding with patience and with care, all while letting go of the need to control that final outcome.
Okay, that all sounds really nice, right? But what does it actually look like? This isn't just a philosophy. It has some super practical tools that come with it. Let's open up the gardener's toolkit. First tool in the bag is a commitment to truth, even when it's uncomfortable. A good gardener isn't afraid to get their hands dirty or get scratched by a few thorns if it means the health of the plant. They deal with the hard stuff because they know that ignoring a problem doesn't make it disappear. It just lets the rot set in. Second, a gardener understands that you can't treat a cactus the same way you treat a fern. It would kill them both. Real care requires discernment. It means having the humility to slow down, to listen, to actually pay attention to what this person needs in this moment. That one-size-fits-all approach, it can be so destructive. And that leads right into the third principle, alignment. See, it's not enough to just have good intentions. Your care has to be aligned with reality to actually be helpful. You can crush someone with a challenge when they needed comfort, or break trust by being harsh when gentleness was required. The question isn't just, did I mean well? It's, was I aligned?
Now, this is where Alejos makes a really crucial turn. And honestly, if you take one thing away from this chapter, let it be this. The practice of tending, it's not just about other people. It has to start with you. Because you can't tend a garden well if your own soil is toxic. The core idea here is that what you pass on isn't just your advice or your good intentions, it's the actual condition of your own soul. If your inner life is a mess of bitterness or anxiety, that's what's going to leak out onto the people you're trying to care for, no matter how good your words are. Your own health is the foundation for everything else.
So that brings us to the stakes. What happens if we choose that conqueror path? Or even worse, what if we just choose to do nothing at all? This really sets the stage for the pretty devastating consequences he's going to unpack in the next chapter. First thing we have to understand is a basic law of any garden. Neglect is not a pause button. When you walk away, things don't just stay the same, waiting for you to come back. Neglect is actually a permission slip. It's an invitation for chaos. When you're not actively cultivating health, the space doesn't stay empty. Weeds will always find a way in.
And that leads to contamination. The weeds of confusion and dysfunction start to take over. People get shaped by whatever's easiest or loudest, and pretty soon, what's broken starts to look normal.
And the final cost of long-term neglect? It isn't just a damaged garden. It's collapse. The entire structure of meaning, of trust, of coherence, it all starts to give way. And that leaves us right here, with this final, unavoidable question. Look, you don't get to choose whether or not you're in the garden. You already are. Your life, your very presence, is shaping the soil around you right now. So the only real choice you have is how you're going to tend it. As a conqueror, obsessed with control, or as a gardener, committed to faithful, truthful care.